Hey, y'all, good morning, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to Pelion, South Carolina. Y'all, it is a beautiful day. Guess what today is? Can anybody guess? Does anybody know? Do y'all know? I know. It's hump day. It's Wednesday, my dudes. Woohoo! I hope you guys are having a fantastic hump day out there. Y'all, I'm having a great day. It's 66 degrees Fahrenheit here in Pelion. I don't believe them. The weatherman says the high today is going to get up to 80 degrees. But the way it feels right now, man, it feels fantastic out here. Y'all hear Jack out there in the distance. This is my kind of weather, y'all. 66 degrees, perfect. Anywhere between 65 and about 72, maybe 74, maybe 75. 65 to 75, my kind of weather, y'all. But this here, 66 degrees Fahrenheit here this morning. I'm enjoying today's weather. It's a beautiful hump day. Y'all, it's still raining. They're calling for rain again today. It's been raining every day. I know I talked about it, was it Monday? I talked about it Monday. It feels like I'm living in Washington State or something, y'all. But it's been raining like every day for like over a week. Maybe 10 days now. I have to go back and look. If it hadn't, I'm surprised. It feels like it's been raining every day. So y'all, I'm betting the worms are really excited because the humidity's high. The weather is perfect. The temperatures are cool. This is the perfect weather for red wiggler worms. And y'all, I'm excited. I'm excited to get into it because yesterday I come out here and I gave the worms a little bit of molasses water. Just to give them a little pep, a little bit of sugar. I haven't been giving them any sugar through the hot months of the year because I was afraid that the extra sugar in the water would heat the bins up more and make more activity. But since the temperatures have started moderating a little bit, I started giving the worms molasses water again because that sugar helps fatten them up, gives them extra energy for breeding and such. So y'all, let's get right into it and let's see what the worm wizards are doing today because I'm pretty excited. Let's get right into it. All right, here we go. And I did put extra cardboard in the bins to make sure I covered the whole top because I wanted to keep them nice and moist. And let's see what it looks like when I pull up. Oh yeah, we got worms. Let me zoom in on before they all disappear so you can see them. There you go. Right on top of the cardboard there. And that's another reason why I wanted to put these layers of cardboard. Not just to conserve the moisture, but when you cover up the top here, it promotes the worms to come, when they can't get no light to them and you cover them up like this, that really promotes the worms to come all the way to the surface. All the way to the surface and eat and go through that cardboard and that mushroom compost that I got in there. Oh, speaking of mushroom compost, I want to give a shout out to Joe out in Western Australia. I think he's over there near Perth. As a matter of fact, I think he is in Perth. Anyhow, I talked with Joe yesterday in the comments. Shout out to Joe. I appreciate your support, brother. He told me a terrible story. He had some bad news. He went to a local store in his area of Australia. Apparently, it's a chain store, kind of like our Lowe's here is or something. He called it he called the name of it down in the comments. I apologize, I can't remember the name of it. But anyhow, he said he bought some mushroom compost to feed his worms, and he said his worms did not like their mushroom compost at all. I didn't catch the brand either, but whatever brand it is, he said they carry it at all these chain stores that he was talking about. He said that. Now, I asked him if it killed any of his worms, and I haven't seen him respond to that comment yet. But as far as I know, so far, it didn't kill any of his worms, but he said they were trying to get away from the mushroom compost, and they were trying to, I think he said they were trying to jump out of his bin, or trying to get out of his bin. They were climbing the walls and stuff. So he was saying that they didn't like the mushroom compost that he bought and put in his bin. And he wanted to give everybody a cautionary tale out there, that just because it's mushroom compost and it comes in a bag, your worms might not like it. And you know what? I totally agree. I got to thinking about it afterwards, and I've had a lot of luck with mine, I probably should have been doing doing what I'm about to tell y'all. But you know, when you go to feed your worms something out of a bag you buy from a store, it might be a good idea just to do a test batch, you know. Don't pour a whole bunch of it in your bin all at one time. Maybe just put a couple handfuls in, or maybe, you know, here's an example. Maybe if I was going to buy a new bag of something I never fed the worms before, maybe only feed one corner, or only feed half the bin, the new stuff out the bag, and then you can observe whether they run away from it or they go towards it, you know. So, cautionary tale from Joe over in Western Australia. Be careful what you buy from a store in a bag and just put straight in your bin. It might kill your worms, or they might not like it. They might run away from it. So it might be a good idea to do a test run. And like for instance, I got all these bins here like this, right? So maybe if I was going to buy a new bag of something, or maybe it's not even a bag of something, maybe it's just a new source of food, like from a horse farm or something, because, you know, a lot of horses and cattle and things have, they're dewormer. And a lot of times that wormer will end up in their poop, and then if you feed that stuff to your worms, it might kill your worms. So my point is, maybe if you got a whole bunch of bins like this, and you get a new source of food, maybe you should just feed it to one of your bins to do a test, and make sure it's not going to harm your worms, or they're going to like it before you feed it to all your bins. I wanted to bring that up here in the video, because he talked about it, and he brought it up in the comments yesterday. And I want to thank you, Joe, for bringing that up. That was a very good. I'm sorry for your experience, but thank you for sharing your experience so we can all learn from it, and maybe we can all become better wormers and worm farmers. And I know some of you folks out there aren't worm farming. You just like to, you know, recycle your own cardboard and food waste, and that's perfectly fine. I think that tip goes for everybody though, not just worm farmers. So be cautious when you buy something out the store in a bag to feed your worms, and even when you're just feeding them a new food source that you never fed them before, might want to do a test run, do a test batch a little bit, just to gauge their reaction, you know. But the shout out to Joe again. I know I done said it like 3 times. I really do appreciate that feedback, buddy, and thank you for sharing your experience. And sir, I am so sorry that you had to go through that, but thank you for sharing. That information will be invaluable to our community. I think I said that term right? Right? Invaluable? That means valuable, right? Well, it's valuable. It's valuable information to our community. I appreciate it, Joe. Thank you. Now, you see this part here, I got mushroom compost in here. And see, my worms, apparently my source of mushroom compost must be all right, because my worms like mine. Or I say they like it. I think they like it. They don't run away from it or nothing. So they must, and they ain't dying, so they must like it. They ain't whispered in my ear and told me how much they like it yet, though. Look at all these worms. No, there's some hook-worthy worms there, y'all. Ooh, see. And I also started feeding the worms chicken feed again. If y'all remember, I had suspended feeding chicken feed to the worms for a couple reasons. One, I had a black soldier fly infestation breakout, and I thought that I was overfeeding the chicken feed, and they were eating the excess, and it was causing, you know, an infestation of soldier flies, larvae. But since the temperatures have moderated, and the black soldier flies have seemed to have stopped laying as many eggs, or at least I ain't seeing as many larvae, I went back to feeding the worms chicken feed. Again, I feed the worms 16% laying crumbles. That's 16% protein. And they seem to like it. It helps fatten them up. But don't be careful though. Don't overfeed it to them, because like I say, you might end up with some other issues from other critters or such. But I have started back feeding mine chicken feed, the 16% laying crumbles. And like I said, I started yesterday spraying molasses water in here too, to give them a little boost with some sugar. So I'm giving my worms extra protein and extra sugar here at the moment. And see here, I'm going to scratch back the surface. Let's see what we got going on. Get over here in this corner. dig up just a little bit. Let's see what they got going on in here. Now, I fed the worms chicken feed the day before. Was it day before yesterday? Yeah, it was day before yesterday I fed them the chicken feed. And so far, I'm not seeing any leftover chicken feed. Yesterday, they still had some left over from the day before. So I didn't feed them any yesterday. I wanted them to finish off what I'd already put in here before I added more. And I'm not seeing any. I'm not seeing any chicken feed so far. So it looks like they might have eaten it. So that's the case. Today, I'm going to sprinkle in some more chicken feed. I got a fella out in Ontario, California. Shout out to Jonathan out in Ontario, California. Me and him's been talking. I'm going to try to get him a nice worm order going. He's got some no-till garden beds. He wants to colonize with some red wigglers, and so I got to come up with which I know I ain't got to come up with them. I got plenty of worms. I was going to say I got to come up with 2,000 red wigglers for him, a couple pounds. That's approximately 2 pounds of worms. And I wanted to fatten them up good before I package them up and mail them off. I'm waiting the next week. Well, I'm also waiting to hear from him. But assuming I hear back from him and he still wants to get the worms, I'm going to wait and mail them next week. So that'll give me a couple days to get them good and fattened up for him. Oh, yeah. I ain't seeing no chicken feed, y'all. I ain't seeing no chicken feed. Lots of castings, though. This cool weather and all this moisture in the air. Ooh, look at that one there, y'all. I got to pick him up. Look at this one. Look at there. He's trying to squirm away from me. He's a big one. Not as thick. Wait. Not as thick, but long. Look how long he is. That one's pretty big. Oh, I hear somebody hammering. That might be Steve next door putting shingles on the pump house. That's probably what that is. I hear hammering next door. So he must be re-shingling our pump house. We share a well. Me and Steve. He noticed that the shingles and the roof need to be redone on the pump house a few weeks ago, and I went and got he said if I bought the materials, he'd do the work. I said, all right. So that sounded like a good deal to me. So I bought a couple sheets of plywood to replace the old rotten one on top of the pump house. I bought a couple bundles of shingles and some roofing paper. And that sounds like Steve's out there tacking on shingles right now. A good day to do it. It's nice temperatures. Like I say, I like temperatures like this. So it's a great day to get out in the yard and do some work. If you got any home improvements need to be done or any gardening, anything you got to do out in the yard. Man, I love it when it's in the 60s like this. Whew, let's see what the thermometer over here says. Hey, Mr. Gnome. What's going on, buddy? You're not going to speak to me today? Oh, look at there. The thermometer's lower now. All right, let's see here. Looks like we've got about 74, maybe bumping on 75 in the bin. If y'all remember, it's been in the 80s, 82, 84, 85, even up to 90 back when it was really hot. So temperatures are moderating very well. Oh, yeah, look at here, y'all. Let's zoom in here. Thought I saw a soldier fly larvae. Yep, there's one right there. Let's see if I can pick him up with my fingers. Let me zoom in on that booger. That's what a soldier fly larvae looks like for anybody out there who hadn't been following the channel very long. If you're one of the frequent viewers, then you know exactly what a black soldier fly looks like because we've been picking them out of here for a while. Oh yeah, look at there. Let me zoom in on those wigglers. Yep. don't know about the rest of the country, but with temperatures around here starting to moderate a little bit, and the worst of the heat of the summer is behind us, I believe and I hope, now would be a good time for you to start your own worm bin or add worms to a compost pile or a bin. I always recommend folks start their, if you're going to start breeding worms or composting worms or starting your own worm bin, what is this? That's a weird stick. I felt rubbery there for a moment. That's a stick. That's wood. Okay. But yeah, back to what I was saying. I recommend for folks that want to get started with a worm bin and or raising worms to start in the fall or the late summer or the early fall when it starts cooling off. This is the best time. If you start a worm bin now, by next spring you'll have plenty of worm castings, and you'll have time for your worms to have bred up over the spring. Over the fall and winter months, especially if you keep them warm and fed real good over the winter months. So in my opinion, now it's just my opinion now, because I'm a guy. Remember now, I'm just a guy on YouTube. So this is just my opinion. But my opinion is, best time of the year to start a worm bin is in the fall. The late summer, early fall, best time to start a worm bin, because that gives you plenty of time before next spring to breed up lots and lots of worms and to make lots and lots of worm castings for your garden. And that's what most people want, I believe. That's what most people want when they messing with worms, is they want them worm castings for their garden in the springtime. And if you wait until wintertime or late winter or early spring to get started, well, you ain't gonna have no castings or you ain't gonna have many castings when it comes springtime ready to plant. So my advice is to start in the late summer or the fall, whenever the temperatures moderate in your area and they start cooling off a little bit. To me, that's the best time to start a worm bin. And there's a little heat coming right there, but now it's gone. There was a little spot there that had a little heat coming from it. Oh, that's a pretty big booger right there. Look at there. He ain't that long, but he's hook worthy. Look at him. That's a hook worthy worm right there. Yes, sir. Y'all don't forget, if anybody needs some red wigglers and you want to start your own worm bin, like I say, I'm just a guy on YouTube, and this is just my opinion, but now's a good time. Now's a good time. It's kind of like, well, it's not exactly like planting a tree, but you know that saying, when's the best time to plant a tree? 10 years ago? When's the second best time to plant a tree? Today, right now. Y'all, if you into gardening and you want some worm castings for your garden, the best time to start a worm bin was yesterday. All right, I'm just kidding a little bit there, but seriously though, it does take a while to build up your worm population and get plenty of castings, because you need plenty of castings to do your seeds and your planting. So the sooner you start, the quicker you'll get what you need and what your goals are. Again, I'm just a guy on YouTube. That's my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. There's that Japanese timber bamboo, y'all. That stuff's still looking good. That stuff ain't rotten at all. Yep. All right, moving right along, y'all. The bins are looking good. I'm talking way too much. Yap City, population 1. Oh, look at there. First bin we come across that still had some chicken feed left in it. Look at there. All right. None of the other bins had any food left in it. So this is the first one, and you see the worms going at it. They're getting at it. Let me go up underneath it so we see any worms underneath it there. No, not really. Not a whole lot. Well, there's some under there. But there's a little bit of food left right there. Ooh, there's some big ones right there. Look at there. Oh, I zoomed in instead of out. Sorry, y'all. I still got to get used to using this. I ain't never going to get used to using it like I should. This camera. I'd like to get me a GoPro like Doug. I was talking to this fella, Doug. Shout out to Doug. Doug, learning the handyman. Learning the workshop Handyman. Doug, Learning the Workshop Handyman. That's his channel name, I believe. Y'all ought to go check him out. He's got lots of good videos on fixing small engines and doing all sorts of things. Forgot what I was going to say. I did. I forgot what I was going to say. Shout out to Doug if you're out there watching, buddy. I appreciate it. I totally forgot. Y'all ever do that? I just forget what I was saying. I guess I talk too much. Yap City, population 1. All right, we're moving right along. The wormies are looking great. They're enjoying this weather. Oh, look at there. Let me zoom in before they get away. There's no chicken feed in this bin left over either. So it looks like I didn't overfeed them. Except maybe in that bin. But see, I don't know. I mean, I pretty much fed all the bins the same amount. Maybe this bin here just has fewer worms in it. That's why they didn't finish the feed. That's what I'm gonna blame it on. There's just fewer worms in that bin. That's why they couldn't finish the feed. Oh yeah, there's a little heat coming down here. But still worms, see? Still worms in there. Even though it's a little warm right there in the center. It's not too hot for them. I'm going to give them some more chicken feed today, y'all. And they're going through all this. And they're going through this cardboard too. Man. They're doing a good job. They're working on it. They're working on it. Now that I done stirred them all up. All right. I know. I'm just a guy on YouTube, y'all, that likes to play with my worms. Drop it in the comments below if you like to play with your worms. All right, y'all. Last bin, everybody. Last bin, everybody. Look at there. We got a worm right on top. Last bin, everybody. Last bin, everybody. Oh, man, look at there. Let me zoom in so you can see them before they disappear. Now, we got... Oh, look at there. There's a whole bunch of soldier fly larvae in this one. This bin here got the most in it. That doesn't really surprise me that there's so many worms at the surface in this bin. Not soldier flies. That does surprise me there's so many soldier flies. But not yesterday, when was it? Monday? Whatever day it was, I think it was Monday when I did my worm order. I had 3 worm orders come in over the weekend. And when I did them Monday morning, after I got done separating the worms from the castings and the bedding, and I filled my orders, I had a couple handfuls of worms left over in a pile, and I just put them back in this bin here. Because this is my newest bin, and I need them to work through the mushroom compost and stuff in this bin the most. These other bins are pretty mature, so pretty much everything below the top couple inches is nothing but castings. But this one here, I started out with fresh mushroom compost and filled it about halfway up when I first started out. And I never did build up I haven't built up the population of worms in here to the max yet. And so they haven't finished going through all the compost in here. So when I've been harvesting the castings from all these bins, the pans coming out of these are finished castings. But when they're coming out the bottom here, they're still got a texture to them that it's not fine enough. They haven't went through it all the way yet. So I've been taking the pan and dumping it back over on the top. And I decided that whenever I do my orders, any worms I got left over, I'm dumping them in here to put as many worms in here to work this bin as hard as possible. Hope that made sense to y'all. I know I talk a lot. But do I say much? I don't know, y'all. I talk a lot, but I don't say much, do I? Y'all ever heard that before? Yeah, he talks a lot, but he don't say much. Yep, that's how I feel sometimes. I talk a lot, but I don't say much. Look at all these worms. As y'all can see, I got the worms. So if anybody needs a 1/4 pound of Red Wigglers, you want to start your own worm bin, I can hook you up, y'all. The descriptions are down the links to my worms are down in the description. If you go in there and click on it, it'll take you to our eBay store. And y'all, I sell worm castings and worms and worm leachate all over there on my eBay store. I sure would appreciate any support you could throw my way. And you don't really need to start out with, unless you want to start a really big worm bin and you got a lot of stuff you want to recycle. You really don't need but about a 1/4 pound of worms to start out with, about 250. Start out with that many, and if you feed them right and make sure to stay moist, they'll double in population about every 90 days. So if you start out with 250 worms, in a year's time, you'll have 4,000 plus worms. So you can go from 250 worms, and in 1 year's time, that 250 will be about 4,000 or more. Because the first 90 days, that 250 will go to 500, and the second 90 days, that 500 will go to 1,000, and then that third 90 days, that 1,000 will go to 2,000, and then that final 90 days, that 2,000 will turn into 4,000 plus. Approximately, give or take. Give or take. Give or take. Drop it in the comments below, y'all. I want to hear what you're doing today. What you doing this fantastic hump day? Look at there. All right, y'all. This was the last bin. It was the last bin, everybody. That's a nice worm right there. Look at that worm right there. Oh, look at there, look at there, look at there. Let me see if I can get that worm between my fingers right there. Look at there, look at that. Look at this worm. Oh, look how long he is, too. Look at him. I dropped him. All right, y'all. I'm sorry. Probably boring everybody to death. I apologize. But hey, if you made it this far, I sure do appreciate it. And Joshua, if you made it this far, which I know you did, you always watched it in, I appreciate that, brother. And I am so sorry to hear about your car troubles. Man, I said a prayer for you last night. And I hope everything goes smooth for you this week. And I feel for you and your car troubles, buddy. I know that it's not fun. I know it's not fun. So y'all, if you're the praying type out there, shoot Joshua out in Colorado a prayer and ask God to help him out and protect him and he's going through some issues, and I say he's going through some issues. Car troubles. You got to have a good way to go, y'all. So I said a prayer for Joshua last night, and I hope he don't have no more car troubles. God, don't let him have no more car troubles for years and years. I hope the car he just bought lasts him a long time. All right, y'all. Well, hey, I appreciate it. Again, if you made it this far, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. That helps the YouTube algorithm tell other folks that they might enjoy it too. And of course, if you got them other social media sites, share it over there. Maybe you can spread the word and help us grow a little bit. And of course, come click on the subscribe button if you hadn't already. That sure would help us. Drop your comments down below. That'll get you entered to win a 90% silver dime. I do a dime giveaway twice. 2 dimes every week. One for a random commenter and one for a person who gets the right number of eggs. You count the eggs in the egg extravaganza video and drop that egg count number down in the comments of that video. And if you got the right number, that'll get you on the wheel of names with the other folks who got the right number. And we'll spin it and I'll give away another 90% silver dime. So that's 2 chances to win silver on my channel every week. And y'all, when we get to 2,500 subscribers, that's going to trigger another silver giveaway. And I'm going to be giving away 2 American Silver Eagles. That's right. 2 troy ounces of fine silver. Going to one of you lucky viewers as soon as we get to 2,500 subscribers. And y'all, we're over 2,300 now, so we ain't got much further to go. All right. Now that I done told y'all my spiel and got that out of the way, if you made it this far, y'all, I sure do appreciate it. You already know it. God bless you. And y'all, come on back now. You hear?